Out of every niche we've studied, this one has the most unfair advantage. One channel with over 90,000 subscribers and a catalog of 122 videos has been able to generate up to $9,000 a month and growing. The entire operation runs on generated images and a narrator who never shows their face. Think of it like a documentary that never got commissioned. Raw events, real consequences, told frame by frame with nothing but a voice and a visual. Most people assume this is just shock content, and with that kind of assumption, you won't be able to understand the opportunity you'll be missing if you don't start today. What's actually happening here is a lot deeper. Humans are wired to study catastrophe, not because they enjoy suffering, but because understanding failure is how we gauge our own survival. That's what makes this format so dangerous to scroll past. It feels urgent and also brings a feel of importance. The viewer can't tell whether they're being entertained or being taught because they're getting both. The visuals don't do the heavy lifting here, but rather the script. Everything rises and falls on how the story is told, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you. How to build one of these as a complete beginner with zero experience. But first, let's see a video example in this niche.
Portugal stepped too close to an unguarded cliff edge while attempting to position herself for a photograph. She did not survive the fall. The location was known. It had been known for years before she arrived. The cliffs along Portugal's Atlantic coast draw hundreds of...
That is what a finished script produces when paired with the right images. Now let me show you how to build one. As usual, we begin by getting a good video idea that matches this niche. I've spent time inside our competitor's channel, not watching casually but cataloging. Which titles pulled the most views? Which topics repeated? What language patterns showed up in their best performers? Then I took those patterns and turned them into an ideation prompt, which I have linked in the description of this video, along with the rest of the prompts we'll be using today. We'll be using Claude AI for this tutorial because of how advanced it has become. So go ahead, copy that prompt from the description and paste it into Claude. After processing the prompt, Claude produces 10 video ideas. Every single one of them with the same angle, the same tone, and the tension already baked in. For this walkthrough, I'll be going with topic 2. Now once you've got your idea locked, the next step is generating a script that actually matches the flow of your topic. And to do that, you need a solid scripting prompt that Claude can digest and turn into something of real quality. That's why you want to subscribe to this channel and like this video, because I do the heavy part for you. Copy the scripting prompt, feed it into Claude alongside your chosen topic, let it run. When your results come out, read through it carefully. Don't just skim it, actually read it. Is the tension escalating at the right pace? Are there enough physical details to make the reader feel like they're standing in the room? Does the emotional weight hit, or is it still sitting at surface level? Make changes, make tweaks. This part matters more than most people think. Do not use the exact generated AI script as is. That path leads to inauthentic content and eventually demonetization. What Claude gives you is the skeleton. What you need to add is the human touch, the feel, the moments that make someone stop scrolling and actually stay. All right, now that we've gotten the script done correctly, let's see how we can generate the visual style of this niche. Again, go to the doc and copy prompt 3. This prompt helps you match the visual style of this niche to correspond with your script. After you paste that into Claude, it comes out with a set of well-crafted image prompts, each one pinned to a specific beat in the narration. From here, we head to Flow to access the high-quality image generation of Nano Banana Pro for free. You can use whatever image generator you want, but this is what I use. Now here is something important. If you paste the prompts directly without any reference, the AI won't be able to lock in the visual style of this niche. So what I do here is I go to the competitor's YouTube channel, take 3 to 4 screenshots of the visuals from their videos. Then I head back to Flow and paste them into the image reference section. From here, I paste in the image prompt, hit send, and wait. And as you can see, the images come out perfectly tailored to the visual style of this niche, thanks to the reference images and the solid image prompt working together. Now, download them all. Whew! Let's start rounding up this tutorial by assembling everything in CapCut. One more thing before we proceed. Do not forget to generate the voiceover for your script. I've already generated mine, and as usual, the process is simple. Select your preferred voiceover tool, 11 Labs, Murph AI, Google Flow, or any tool out there with realistic voices. Paste in your script and hit Generate. Now open CapCut. Layer the voiceover first as your foundation. Then check for any long gaps in the audio. This is very common if you used 11 Labs to generate your voice. Clean those up before you do anything else. Set your aspect ratio to 16:9. Then align all your image clips on the timeline and arrange them to match exactly what is being said in the voiceover. Once that is done correctly, adding basic animations is what comes next. Here is how you do it. On your first clip, increase the scale to about 5 to 10%. Set your marker to where you want the animation to begin. Then on the right panel, click on the Transform keyframe. Shift the marker to where you want the animation to end, then reduce the scale back to its original size, or a percentage slightly less than what you increased it to. This creates a zoom out animation. Simple, but effective. Now keep alternating this process for the rest of your clips. Zoom in, zoom out. If a particular image needs text overlays or animated stickers, add them. Just be flexible with it. Once you are done, export the video, and we will move on to the final step, creating the thumbnail. I will reveal the result of the video we created, but only after I show you how to create the thumbnail. So stick around to the very end. Now for this part, all you have to do is go back to the competitors' channels and download 3 to 4 of their best performing thumbnails. Bring those into Claude alongside the thumbnail generator instruction prompt from the doc. Paste everything in and hit send. Once it is done analyzing the images, you will get a well-structured thumbnail prompt, clean, ready to use. All you have to do now is go back to Flow, paste the prompt in, add the competitor reference thumbnail, again as your reference image, and hit send. Once generated, pick the one you like best and go post your video. As simple as that. All right, we are done here for today. Here is the result of the video we created.
Every investigation reached the same conclusion. The structures held, the systems existed, the protocols were written down. None of it was enough. Ibrox Stadium, Glasgow, Scotland, January 2nd, 1971. The report used the word preventable. It appeared on page 1. It was a Saturday, the 2nd of January, 1971. Ibrox Stadium in Glasgow, Scotland, home of Rangers Football Club. The occasion was the Old Firm Derby, the most attended fixture in Scottish football, contested between Rangers and Celtic. Kickoff had been at 2 p.m. Attendance 80,000. The weather was cold and dry. Wind from the northwest at approximately 15 kilometers per hour. Visibility was clear. The match had been tense from the first whistle. Celtic scored late, a goal in the final minutes that sent their supporters towards the exits in a mood of quiet satisfaction and sent Rangers supporters towards the same exits in something else entirely. Stairway 13 was the primary exit channel for the east enclosure. It was a concrete descent, 18 feet wide, with a gradient steeper than current safety standards would later permit. Steel handrail pipes ran along both sides at fixed intervals. The stairway had processed crowds of this size before, hundreds of times. That was the assumption everyone operated under. The handrails were not load-rated for lateral crowd pressure. That specification had never been required. The stairway met the standards of its era, which had last been formally reviewed in the 1950s. Ranger supporters began descending Stairway 13 in the 89th minute, moving in standard crowd flow, heads down, walking pace, body contact with those immediately adjacent. The crowd behind them was still arriving at the top of the stairway. There was no real-time crowd density monitoring. There were no stewards at the midpoint of the descent. The control room had no camera feed on Stairway 13. With approximately 2 minutes remaining, Rangers equalized. The roar was audible from inside the stairway. Supporters already mid-descent heard it. Some stopped, some turned. A small number attempted to reverse direction, back toward the terrace to witness the goal, or simply slowing in reaction to the sound. The crowd above them, separated by the lip of the stairway, had not yet received the signal to slow. At the base of the stairway, a railing gave way. Eyewitnesses described not a crack, but a low compression, the sounds of mass shifting against metal. The crowd at the front had nowhere to go. Those arriving from above were moving at normal walking pace. The physics of the situation had already committed to a conclusion. People at the front were taken off their feet. Horizontal pressure converted to vertical load. Bodies stacked. The pileup extended 14 feet up the stairway before those at the rear understood that the flow had stopped. The pileup lasted less than 90 seconds in active formation. Emergency services were on site within 6 minutes. By then, bystanders and surviving supporters had already begun extracting people manually. There was no protocol for this, no on-site medical unit with trauma capability, no crush response equipment staged at the exits. 31 people died from compressive asphyxia. Their lungs could not expand against the pressure of the surrounding mass. 35 more died from crush injuries and blunt trauma. The youngest victim was 9 years old. The oldest was 42.